So you want to retire super early. But what about inflation? Hey everybody, it's Emily, and a couple of weeks ago I promised eventually I'd do a video on do you need to worry about inflation if you retire super early, say in your 30s or 40s. So I wanted to address that in this video. Do you need to be concerned about inflation? Well, I think the safe answer is yes. The question is how much and what do you do to ameliorate the effects? Well, the general projection for cost of living increase in 30 years from now is between 2 and 3 times what it is now. And remember, that's a projection. In 1970, people would have never thought that the cost of living would actually be considerably less 20 years later in 1990, but it was. Now, that's probably not going to happen from now. No matter what people say about the economy, it's not as bad now as it was in the early 1970s. Trust me, I was there. Well, not that I was not cognizant of it then. Anyway, so if you want to retire super early, how do you make sure inflation isn't going to get you in the rear end in 20 or 30 years? Well, the answer is simple. The answer is to not pull out an amount from your whole nest egg such that your nest egg will continue to grow. For example, if you decide to invest using the permanent portfolio way, you're going to average between a 7 and 8% annual return. So you're going to want to pull out probably no more than 5%. 4 to 5% would be good. And then you'll have another 2 or 3% that will keep growing every year. If you decide to invest the Ivy portfolio way, you're going to have 11 or 12%. You actually might, you might be safe to pull out a little bit more. Maybe you could pull out 6% a year. But let me run some numbers for you. So I don't have any fancy schmancy screen capture with, and a good microphone to do this. So I'm just going to video my laptop screen. I am at moneychimp.com. If you ever want to do anything with compound interest, go to moneychimp.com and click the link on that homepage for the interest calculator. That's where I am right now. I'm at the compound interest calculator, and if you do not know what compound interest is, that's the interest that accrues over time. It's compounded, okay? It's over many years or a few years. All right. So now the first question is, how much should if you're going to retire super early, what's a good place to start as far as how big should your nest egg be? They say between 20 and 30 times what you plan to pull out every year. So let's say that you think you can live pretty, your mortgage is paid off, $40,000 a year is going to be pretty comfortable. And just FYI, my family does not pull out nearly that much. It's under 30,000 that we're living on. If we were still in the suburbs, it would be a little bit more. Okay, but let's just make it comfortable. So $40,000 times 20 is $800,000. That's what you'd want to shoot for as far as the size of your nest egg. The annual addition, nothing, because now if you decide to, you're going to write novels and you're going to make a few $100s a month from the Amazon Kindle store or whatever, YouTube. Maybe you're going to sell on eBay and just work a few hours a week. If you want to do something to make a little bit of money, maybe you're going to add that a little bit. But, let's just say you're flat out retiring. You're done trying to earn money by the time you're 35, 40 years old, and you hit 800,000, and so your annual addition is 0. You're just going to live off that 800,000. Years to grow. Well, I'm interested in knowing, since, inflation will be definitely in place within 20 years. Let's say years to grow 20%. 20 years to grow 20. We want to see where we're going to be at, because the cost of living will probably be up some. Maybe not double, but it'll be up some. in 20 years. So the interest rate, let's say we're being conservative. We don't want the stock market to flip us, you know, to make us nervous. So we're using the permanent portfolio way. And conservatively, we make 7% a year. We're going to pull out 5% a year because 5% of 800,000 is 40,000. All right, so we're going to pull out 5 a year. That leaves us 2% to grow. All right, then you hit calculate, and then we'll see the number at the bottom. All right, so in 20 years, $800,000 growing at 2% a year, you're not adding anything else, you're going to end up with $1,188,757.92. Now, I'm going to open the calculator, and now in 20 years, let's say we need to be pulling out 55,000. Let's say 60,000. Inflation has gone up so that now instead of 40,000, the same, you know, the groceries, gas, you know, all those things, instead of costing us 40,000 a year, it's costing us 60,000 a year. So I'm going to see what percent 60,000 is of, so 60,000 divided by 1,188,000, and I'll just say 758 because that's almost what it is, equals. All right, look at that. 5%. We're still pulling out just 5%. And this isn't even the more lucrative Ivy portfolio. All right, what would it be? What would happen if it were the Ivy portfolio? Well, let me move that down there. Okay, if it were the Ivy portfolio and we're only taking out 5%, then we could probably easily figure that we'd make 6% a year. Calculate that. After 20 years, we'd have over $2.5 million. We would start to be able to live. I mean, we would be able to pull out. Okay, what I'm trying to say is you would be able to increase the amount of money. It wouldn't be the $60,000. Well, let me calculate that real quick. Did the calculator go? Here it is. Let's just do that. Okay. So let's do, how do we do this now? So figuring in for inflation in 20 years, what we're spending $40,000 a year on now will be $60,000 in 20 years. Remember, this is just an example. I have no idea. Supposedly, it'll be $85,000 in 30 years. But at 20 years, let's say it's $60,000. Well, so now 60,000, gotta make sure I have the right number of zeros, 60,000 divided by 2,565,708. Look at, that's not even 3%. So you could actually double, you could start living high on the hog. You could pull out $120,000 a year, and that would only be 5% of this, and it would continue to grow. So if you want to retire before you're 55 years old, how much do you have to worry about inflation? Well, not at all if you are, number one, you're investing in you're using an investment strategy that won't kill you some years, such as mutual funds, okay? And number two, you're pulling out an annual amount that is less than the amount it will grow. Okay, you got that? So again, like if you're making 7% average from the permanent portfolio, your nest egg is in the permanent portfolio, it's going to make 7% average. You pull out 4 or 5% a year, you're going to have 2 or 3% growth. It's going to continue to grow. So that's how you take care of the inflation issue. You have to figure out your costs up front, what your current costs are going to be when you retire super early, and times 20 or times 30 if you want to even be more conservative to figure out how big your nest egg has to be. And then you only have to pull out a small fraction. So there you go. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If it was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I'll see you for the next video, and in the meantime, take care and be well.